FDA advisors recommend approval of controversial ALS drug, The Washington Post. The vote increases the likelihood that the Food and Drug Administration will clear the first drug for the disease in 5 years. Independent advisors to the Food and Drug Administration on Wednesday voted 7-2 to recommend approval of an experimental ALS drug with strong support from patients and advocates, making it likely. Plus 8255 Chars. House of the Dragon, green-fingered gaffe will be fixed. HBO. New York Post. Furious fans called out the show's lack of attention to detail, recalling similar gaffes made in Game of Thrones, particularly during that controversial final season. It's off to a rocky start for House of the Dragon. HBO has said they'll fix the CGI error that made it into the final cut of the series' most recent episode. Warning. Spoilers below. During EP. Plus 1769 Chars. Man wanted for Memphis shooting spree in custody. Police say. FOX13 Memphis. A man is going around Memphis shooting people, according to Memphis police. Memphis, Tennessee. Update 9:50 p.m. Court records show that 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly was charged with first-degree murder due to an incident on February 3, 2020. He was also charged with aggravated plus 5201 Chars. Cancers in adults below 50 have dramatically increased. Report. ABC News. The study found that incidences are partially attributable to early screenings. Early-onset cancers, defined as cancers discovered in adults younger than 50 years old, have dramatically increased around the world over the last few decades, according to a new report by Research A. Plus 2079 Chars. NASA taps Axiom Space for First Artemis Moonwalking Spacesuits. NASA has selected Axiom Space to deliver a moonwalking system for the Artemis 3 mission, which will land Americans on the surface of the Moon for the first time in over 50 years. This award, the first one under a competitive spacesuits contract, is for a null. Cairo Santos applauds switch to Bermuda grass at Soldier Field. NBC Sports. After the Bears played their only home preseason game at Soldier Field, kicker Cairo Santos called it a reckless decision because of the condition of the field. It was resodded this week, with Bermuda replacing Soldier Field's traditional Kentucky bluegrass. After the Bears played their only home preseason game at Soldier Field, kicker Cairo Santos called it a reckless decision because of the condition of the field. It was resodded this week, with Bermuda plus 768 Chars. Apple event recap. iPhone 14, Apple Watch 8, new AirPods Pro and more. Tom's Guide. Forget the rumors. We've now seen the iPhone 14, Apple Watch 8 and AirPods Pro 2 in the flesh. The 8th of September 2022 T2 hours 33 minutes and 2 seconds. 156 Geras a look at the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max in video form. The 8th of September 2022 T2 hours 3 minutes and 12 seconds. 405 Z. Image credit. Future. It may lack the flashier Apple Watch Ultra features. Plus 56621 Chars. U.S. bank regulator warns of crisis risk from fintech proliferation. Reuters. The rise of fintech services and digital banking could spur financial risks and potentially a crisis over the long term. Michael Hsu, acting controller of the currency, a major U.S. bank regulator, warned on Wednesday. New York, September 7. Reuters. The rise of fintech services and digital banking could spur financial risks and potentially a crisis over the long term. Michael Hsu, acting controller of the currency. +2428 Chars. Don't worry darling. The Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde cast drama explained. CNET. The drama behind this movie is setting the internet off. Don't worry darling. The movie from acclaimed Booksmart director Olivia Wilde made its debut at the Venice Film Festival on Monday. It's a movie mired in controversy, making headlines for the wrong. +5695 Chars. An arrest has been made in the stabbing death of a Las Vegas investigative reporter. Police say. CNN. German was found with stab wounds, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal. An arrest has been made in the stabbing death of Las Vegas Review-Journal investigative reporter Jeff German. Police say. The suspect in the homicide that occurred on September 2, 2022, has been TAC. +2629 Chars. Artificial sweeteners linked to increased risk of heart disease. Study finds. The Guardian. Research involving 103,000 French adults shows sweeteners should not be considered a healthy and safe alternative to sugar. Health research involving 103,000 French adults shows sweeteners should not be considered a healthy and safe alternative to sugar. Artificial sweeteners are linked to an increased risk of heart disease. +3640 Chars. Doomsday glacier, hanging on by its fingernails. Scientists. New York Post. Just a small kick to the Thwaites could lead to a big response, one scientist said. Thwaites Glacier, otherwise known as the Doomsday Glacier, due to the fact it could raise the sea level by several feet, is allegedly hanging on by its fingernails. Scientists discovered that the +2119 Chars in Chiefs' new look offense. Mahomes says receivers will come from everywhere. Arrowhead Pride. Starting on Sunday, we'll finally get to see what the Kansas City offense will now be like. Throughout the 2022 offseason, it's been difficult to consume any Kansas City Chiefs news without mention of departed wide receiver Tyreek Hill. How will the quarterback Patrick Mahomes continue to PR? +5755 Chars. Apple Watch Ultra hands-on. The Verge null. Mortgage apps plunge as refis drop 83%. CNBC Television null. Louis Capaldi says he will quit music if his new single flops and step out of the spotlight forever. Daily Mail. John Deacon wrote a number of Queen's smash hits, including Another One Bites the Dust, before leaving the band following Freddie Mercury's death in 1991. Louis Capaldi has said he will quit the music business if his latest tracks flop, as he prepares to return to the limelight after a 3-year break. The singer, 33, who recently revealed he has tour +8159 Chars. Myles Sanderson, suspect in deadly Canada stabbing attacks, has died following arrest. CBS News. A cause of death was not given. Myles Sanderson, one of two suspects in a stabbing spree that left 10 people dead in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan, has died. Police said Wednesday night. He had been arrested earlier in the +7770 CHARS. Vitamin D won't protect you from COVID or respiratory infections. Studies say. CNN. Boosting vitamin D levels in adults during the pandemic was not associated with protection against COVID-19 or respiratory tract infections such as colds or the flu, according to 2 large clinical trials. CNN. Vitamin D supplements aren't likely to prevent an infection from COVID-19 or respiratory infections, like colds or flu, even if your current levels of the vitamin are low, according to 2 new L+6904 CHARS. DART sets sights on asteroid target. NASA. NASA's Double Asteroid Redirection Test. DART spacecraft recently got its first look at Didymos, the double asteroid system that includes its target, Dimorphos null. Rangers to promote Josh Jung. MLB Trade Rumors. The Rangers are going to promote prospect Josh Jung, per Levi Weaver of The Athletic. Brad Miller is going to and Helip. The Rangers are going to promote prospect Josh Jung, per Levi Weaver of The Athletic. Brad Miller is going to go on the 10-day injured list with a hip issue, per Evan Grant of the Dallas Morning News. +4547 CHARS. Apple now letting customers get ready for iPhone 14 launch with pre-order setup. Mac rumors. Following the debut of the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Plus, iPhone 14 Pro, and iPhone 14 Pro Max, Apple is letting customers get ready for pre-orders. Following the debut of the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Plus, iPhone 14 Pro, and iPhone 14 Pro Max, Apple is letting customers get ready for pre-orders, which will begin on Friday, September 9 at 5 o'clock a. +995 CHARS. U.S. housing market decline to worsen in 2023. Goldman Sachs warns. New York Post. Goldman Sachs has warned that the housing market downturn will get worse in 2023 when home price growth will reach a stall. The U.S. housing market has been slowing down in the past few months as interest rates continue to climb. But Goldman Sachs has warned prospective home sellers that the housing market downturn is XB. +2762 CHARS. Nicolas Cage welcomes first child with wife Riko Shibata. Hollywood Life. Nicolas Cage is now a father of 3. The Pig actor welcomed his first child with wife Riko Shibata on Sept. 7. Read their statement here. View gallery image credit. Jack Plunkett, InVision, app, Shutterstock. Congrats are in order for Nicolas Cage, 58, and his wife Riko Shibata, 27, on their new bundle of joy. The adorable couple welcomed T. +2702 CHARS. Apple event recap. iPhone 14, Apple Watch 8, new AirPods Pro and more. Tom's Guide. Forget the rumors. We've now seen the iPhone 14, Apple Watch 8 and AirPods Pro 2 in the flesh. The 8th of September 2022 T2 hours 33 minutes and 2 seconds. 156 Geras a look at the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max in video form. 8th of September 2022 T 2 hours 3 minutes and 12 seconds. 405 Z. Image credit. Future. It may lack the flashier Apple Watch Ultra features. Plus 56621 Chars. COVID in California. Anxiety and depression may raise odds of long COVID. San Francisco Chronicle. Psychological stressor may play a greater role than physical ailments in a patient's. Anxiety and depression may raise odds of long COVID. Study finds. Psychological stressor may play a greater role than physical ailments in a patient's likelihood of experiencing symptoms of long COVID. Plus 9743 Chars. Inside Aaron Judge's extremely guarded life as he chases home run record. New York Post. Judge's on-field prowess only stoked public interest in his private life. The Yankees have been imploding. But slugger Aaron Judge is having a season for the history books. The 30-year-old's chasing a triple crown and, with 55 homers as of Wednesday afternoon, he's on pack. Plus 6567 Chars. Major new Google Chrome security bug. You need to update your browser ASAP. CNET. A critical security vulnerability in Google Chrome was recently found and patched. Make sure your browser is protected. If you're using Google Chrome or a Chromium-based browser, whether on macOS, Windows or Linux, it's time to check for a critical security update. On Friday, Google released a Chrome update to patch. Plus 3906 Chars.